People would never think about getting kicked out of a theme park, would they? But here are 9 ways that you can get kicked out of one, including 5 before you even get inside the gates. If you ever work at a theme park, one of the things that you will joke with your coworkers about is how clueless the guests are when they come into the park. Common sense goes out the window, and people don't seem to think of anything that they're doing sometimes. That even includes on their way to the park and before they get there. There are a number of things that guests may or may not think of when they approach the park and get ready to go in that could actually get them into big trouble and get themselves either kicked out of the park, sent home before they get in, or even in the worst cases, get themselves banned or injured. Here's 9 of them that may or may not be common sense to some of them. Number 1, don't buy used tickets at a discount reseller. This is in particular a Disney problem, especially at Disney World down in Florida. There are people who will take their tickets, buy a 7-day park hopper, use only 5 of the days, and then they will sell them to a ticket reseller who sells them at a big discount to other people. If you drive around Orlando, you will actually see stores advertising cheap Disney tickets, and this is what they're advertising. Or you could find them on eBay. Now, this has become much less of a problem with the magic bands and some of the other steps that Disney has taken, but there are still not real legitimate people selling these things. Here's the truth. Most of these used tickets are fakes, they're frauds. Even if they're not, tickets at Disney are non-transferable. Once a single person has used it, that is the only person that can use it. You can't just give them to somebody else to use. There's ways of it identifying with the people who use the ticket. They used to do finger scanners, now they've got other ways of doing it. So if you go and you're thinking that you're buying a 2-day Disney World ticket for $50 and you've got a deal, you're probably going to run into trouble. What happens is you get up to the gate, and that ticket comes up as not belonging to you. What happens when that happens? Well, they confiscate the tickets and you don't get repaid for them. Which means you're stuck at the front gate of Disney World with no tickets and no way to get in. Yeah, that's not going to make the family real happy. Which means then you got to walk over and actually go buy full price tickets. Make sure you buy your tickets from an authorized Disney seller. And then you're not going to get kicked out before you get in. Number 2, don't dress like a character. Many of us have heard about the 14-year-old girl who got really upset because she dressed up like Tinkerbell and was all excited about going into Animal Kingdom and then told she couldn't go in because she looked like the character. Here's Disney's general rule on costumes. Most of the time, don't. There are some specific events that they will allow you to dress up for, like Mickey's Not So Scary, but even then, you're not allowed to dress as the character. You can have a costume sort of inspired, but essentially cosplay is a no-go at Disney. If they see you walking around dressed like a character, they're probably going to say something to you. And if you start giving autographs, well, you're going to have a really quick trip out of the park. Now, obviously, this doesn't apply to somebody that's very obviously not the character. For example, a 6 or 7-year-old girl dresses her favorite princess. That's not a problem. But if you're 15, 16, mid-20s, 30s, and you're dressed up like a princess, it's probably not going to fly. Now, there is a new thing out there called Disney Bound. That's perfectly fine. If you don't know what Disney Bound is, it is basically clothing and outfits inspired by the characters, but that doesn't look like them. It may be color schemes or with the characters printed on it or something like that. That's fine, but no actual costumes. A couple good examples of this I saw. I remember one December we had a guy walking around that looked a bit like Santa Claus. He wasn't dressed like Santa, he was obviously on vacation. Except that some kids started coming up and asking him if he was Santa and asking for autographs. And rather than saying no, he said yes and signed a couple autograph books. That's a big no-no at Disney. And he was warned and did it again. And unfortunately, Santa found himself on the way out of the park and waved at the real Santa Claus who was meeting kids over there for Christmas. If you're questionable, don't wear it. If it's got props like wings sticking out, pirate swords, don't bring them. Wear something that might be inspired by but doesn't look like the character and you're going to be fine. Number 3, don't wear obscene or inappropriate clothing. This can fall into a variety of things. Of course, all of the parks have a shirt, shoes, pants required at all times. Water parks, you can get away without the shirts, but otherwise, if you're in a park, you gotta have a shirt on. Underclothing and swimsuits don't cut it. Sorry, ladies, if you're going to be at a Disney park or something like that, you can't go in with just your swimsuit on top. Guys, you can't take your shirt off. It's also very dependent upon what you're wearing on that shirt. If it has curse words on it, or obscene gestures, or sexual references, or things like that, they're not going to let you wear it in the park. And if you're walking up to the gate with that on, they're going to tell you, bye-bye, see you later, and send you home. We would see people that would sneak shirts in and change into them in the course of the day. They also found themselves having to change back into their other shirt, or if they insisted no, they got a short trip out of the park. It was something that as a photographer we had to watch for quite often, because people would try to sneak things in with Mickey. Say a marijuana leaf shirt or something kind of grotesque. And if we saw that, not only did we not take the picture, but it was a wave over to the manager and saying, hey, they want a quick trip. Don't do it. If it's exposing yourself somewhere, don't wear it. Keep your pants up to your waist, guys. Nobody wants to see your undies anyways, really. Make sure that you can't see your underclothing, top or bottom or wherever. Keep yourself modest. You would think it's common sense, but you'd be surprised how many people can't figure out how to dress themselves in public, especially with kids around. Another piece of clothing that can sometimes fall into trouble like that would be the ones that say police on the back in big letters, or security, or something that might make people think that you are an official working for the park. If it's something that can leave the impression that you work for the park when you don't, it's also a no-no, and they're not going to let you wear it into the park. Another thing that can actually fall into that as well is inappropriate tattoos. If you've got a tattoo that shows something sexual, curse words, naked bodies, anything like that, keep it covered and you'll be good. There was actually a guy who liked to visit Disney all the time. We called him the Tattoo Man because he was just covered in Disney tattoos. Tattoo Man liked to show off his Disney tattoos and lift his shirt to show people and pull it off, and he was constantly having to be told not to do that. Well, they finally didn't just kick him out of the park after it happened several times. They banned him for a while. And it wasn't a big deal if he had just kept his clothing on, but he kept having to show everybody and show off. And that's not going to fly at a Disney park. If you are drawing attention to yourself away from what's going on, you're probably going to get in trouble for it. Regular tattoos are not a problem. If it's just a simple basic tattoo that isn't going to draw attention, and particularly if it's not going to offend anybody, you don't have to worry about it. But the rest, keep them covered. Number 4, no weapons. This should be really obvious in the light of today's security at the parks. Whether it's metal detectors or security out there checking bags, don't bring your gun, your pocket knives, your hunting knives, your mace. An extendable baton is not a good thing to bring in a park, and you're going to find yourself on the way out in a big hurry. If you bring a gun to a park at the entrance, you're liable to find yourself arrested. If you get to the park and you realize that you've left your weapon on you, which I know happens sometimes to those who carry concealed, lock it in your car somewhere that's not going to be seen or accessible. Safest thing to do. Don't bring them to the parks. Number 5, no selfie sticks. This is something that's been a growing problem in the parks, and they've really started to crack down the last year and a half. They're a health hazard, they're a safety hazard. People walk around and hit other people with them. They try to film on the rides and hit parts of the ride with them. Not good. They're a pain in the neck, and they're banned in most parks. Don't bring a selfie stick. For other camera equipment, like tripods and other stuff, you're going to have to check with the individual park. Some parks will allow something like this. This is actually what I carry around with me when I'm shooting on my phone. And it's a small tripod. A lot of parks, that is okay, and they will let you film like this off-ride. That one's coming up later. Not all parks will. Six Flags St. Louis allowed this in the park. Six Flags Over Texas did not. So check with the individual park and work with the security. If they tell you no, the answer's no. Don't get anything that extends. Sometimes good, not always. So why do they ban those? After getting walked into with somebody's selfie stick in the back of my head once, watching another person take their selfie stick on a roller coaster and try to sneak it out on the ride, not good stuff. Bad things happen when you use selfie sticks in theme parks. Once you're in the park, There's still 4 more things to be careful of. Number 6, stay out of restricted areas and employee-only areas. At Disney parks, this includes the utilidors, any place backstage, any place that says cast members only or employees only, or isn't an obvious walkway. If it's got a switch around hallway where you walk up to an entrance and have to make a quick right turn and a quick left turn, and you're in this place that guests don't go, you're not supposed to be there. Get out! I had a number of times working at the parks, Disney especially, where I would walk off stage, backstage to head to a break or something else, and here's a guest wandering around. Whoa, bud, it doesn't look quite right here. Did they forget to paint? You're not supposed to be there. I would stop people and say, hi, are you an employee? No, I was just trying to find Tomorrowland. You're at Epcot, dude. Get out. And have to push them out sometimes. I did actually have one time I had to call security on 3 guests who would not leave backstage who didn't belong there. If you're dumb enough to film back there or take pictures, which is a huge no-no anyways, you're going to get banned from the parks. This is why certain very popular YouTubers are not allowed at the parks anymore. Because they went places they were not supposed to go, they filmed it, they posted it online, and then didn't apologize and didn't remove it. Gee, you want to know why you're not allowed back? Hello? Stay out of places that are not meant for guests and you're going to be fine. By the way, this also includes don't go behind fences. If there's a fence there, it's a safety barrier meant to keep you safe. If you lose your hat, don't hop it. Your hat is not worth your head, as has unfortunately happened a couple of times. If you lose something, tell the employees and cast members. Don't try to get it yourself. Stay out of restricted and off-limits areas. Another one that should be obvious, and unfortunately isn't a lot of times, number 7, don't abuse the employees or cast members. Simple rule here. If you don't want people to do it to you, don't do it to others. This includes yelling, screaming, cursing, hitting, punching, and just otherwise being obnoxious. If you're going to go up and yank on Mickey's ear, you're probably going to find your ear getting yanked by security out the park. If you want to see if Mickey's a boy, trust me, he is, you're probably going to find yourself getting kicked out of the park. If you want to yell at a manager because you think you have the right to go someplace that you shouldn't, well, they may let you go someplace, but it's not going to be where you want to go. Be nice to employees. They got to put up with people like you and me all day long. You'd be surprised what a smile and a kind word will get you. It might even help you get what you were hoping to get if you were going to be a rude jerk. But I'll tell you, if you're a rude jerk, you ain't going to get it. Not if they can help it. If you really need help figuring this out, go check out some of my videos on 8 things not to give a train robber or do's and don'ts when visiting Disney characters. Most of it is follow the golden rule. Don't treat people any way that you don't want to be treated. Treat them the way you do want to be treated. That isn't treating them how you think they should be treated. Treat them as if it was you in their shoes. Number 8, don't cut in line. No, you're not that special. Neither am I. Everybody else had to pay to wait in line, so can you. Again, you think this would be obvious, right? But people seem to not figure this out. If you go to theme parks, you've seen those groups where all of a sudden you have 6, 7, 8 people trying to shove in front of you. Now, I'm really obnoxious. If I'm there with my kids, my son will take one side and I'll take the other, and we'll just form a wall. You ain't getting past us. We waited. You can wait too. Oh, but our family's up there. They can come back to you, bub. Here's the deal. If your family gets split up, which does happen, don't try to get somebody to cut in line to get up to you. Go back to them. It's not fair to everybody else. Just because they had to go get something to eat, sorry, doesn't cut it. Riding or doing something else, absolutely not. That is absolute cutting in line. And a lot of parks, if they find out you're doing it, they'll kick you out. Not every park is as strict on this, but they should be, especially when it comes to tour groups. They were terrible about this. Loved when I saw them try to cut in line and then get shooed all the way back to the end. There is one example of an exception to this, possibly. And that's a bathroom emergency. Now, if you just leave the line, head off to the bathroom, and come back, they're not going to let you back in. But if an emergency happens, in particular with a kid, talk to an employee or cast member. Let them know. Ask them what they would do. And they may very well let you head out of the line, go to the bathroom, and come back. Now keep in mind, they don't have to, but oftentimes they will, if you are nice and kind about it. But other than that, don't cut line. No skipping lines. Don't do it. My last one comes up on a fairly regular basis, even in comments for my Park Tales videos, and I have people ask about it all the time. Number 9, no cameras or video on rides. Generally speaking, don't take your phone on a ride. Don't take your camera on a ride. Don't take your video camera on a ride. I don't care if you got straps. If it's a roller coaster, leave it in a locker or with somebody else. Don't take them on the ride. This thing is a deadly missile when it gets knocked out of your hands and off to somebody's head. I've caught one of these on a ride. It's not fun when you're riding and this thing comes flying at you. Not only that, but then you lose it and it hits the ground and smashes into a million pieces. Those of you who really want on-ride footage, oh, I've got to have it. A video of this is not a fun video to watch. You may think, oh, but I've got a GoPro. It'll hold still. Well, no, because now you're on a roller coaster doing this. Let the on-ride video be shot by the professionals. They strap the cameras onto the cars. They have the right equipment. If you really want on-ride video, look at the park's website, their Facebook page, or a couple of the media pages that are out there. They will have professionally done on-ride video, and you can get your heart's content there. And you'll actually be able to watch it without endangering any lives. Now, I know some of you are going, yeah, but what about this ride over there? They let you take it on. Some of the dark rides are an exception. If you look at my channel, you see I've shot video on the train at Silver Dollar City and the flooded mine. You may occasionally get something like that. Again, you're kind of missing the experience of the ride. Don't use flash. Don't use lights. And you're probably not going to get great video anyways because of that. But occasionally on a dark ride, it's okay. Ask the park first. And if they say no, your answer's no. Because here's the other thing that's going to happen. If you pull out a phone on a ride or a camera, a lot of the parks now are going to stop the ride. I've seen Silver Dollar City stop coasters on the lift hill as they're going up because somebody pulled a phone out. That's right, there's cameras on the lift hills. They'll see you. And then they come walking up, grab the phone, take it away, and give it back to them at the end of the ride. In the meantime, the ride is stopped and everybody is waiting for the person with the phone out. Worst cases, I've seen security waiting for them when they get back to the station. I had a girl on Outlaw Run not very long ago at Silver Dollar City pull her phone out right at the top of the lift hill and film. I thought I was going to get hit because her hand is moving all over and she's just right in front of me. You bet I waved them in because I didn't want that phone in my face. Unfortunately, young lady had a short talk with security after that. I know Silver Dollar City will sometimes walk people out. Six Flags St. Louis, they see a phone out, you're gone, your day is over. Other parks will do the same thing. If they say don't do it, don't do it. And don't ever do it on a roller coaster. So there's 9 ways to keep yourself from getting thrown out of a theme park. Most of them should be common sense, you'd think, right? Yeah, we don't seem to have too much of that anymore. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. What other things have I missed that might get you thrown out that people do sometimes in the parks? I'd love to see them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, please don't hesitate to like the video, comment below, share this video with your friends, your family, and other people. Thank you too so much to my patrons for supporting me. I very much appreciate all of you. If you'd like to know more about helping support me, check out Patreon. There's a link in the description as well as at the end of the video. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day and enjoy your day at the parks. It is amazing. You can look around at some of the Disney... No knives. Oops. Okay, try that again. Your pocket knives, your butcher knives. There's still 4 more things to be careful of. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. This little thing is a deadly missile when it gets